Next, I'd like to bring up another gentleman who taught me how to get off the cell phone and get on the email. So now, before I met him, I was a cell phone man. Now I say I'm an email man. I'd like to bring up Vice President of Yale University, Office of New Haven and State Affairs, Mike Murray. Thanks, Shafiq. It's great to be here on behalf of Yale and with my good colleague, Chief Jim Perotti of the Yale Police Department. The Chief and I and others are here because we're part of this neighborhood. Yale is part of Dixwell, and Dixwell is part of Yale. We are, as the mayor noted, very proud to have opened up as part of the Yale Police Department over at the Rose Center, just a couple blocks on Ashman Street, the Dixwell Yale Community Learning Center, continuing a long tradition of engagement. And it's wonderful to be here because it brings together a terrific police officer who I've gotten to know, and many of us at Yale have gotten to know, who comes from this neighborhood and works in this neighborhood with this great library. And as Jim said, this is exactly what libraries are about and should be about. I wanted to say that I have one difference with something someone said previously. I don't think it's too controversial, though. The term was used, youth as community and at this neighborhood, and I think the same is true of all of us gathered here. We don't see youth at risk. We see youth with potential. And that's really what this program is all about. This is a fantastic neighborhood with fantastic kids in it. It's a neighborhood with great history that we should draw on. Just a block away from here on Dickerman Street, there was a young woman some years ago who was a youth with potential. Some in this room probably knew her. She passed away not too long ago. Her name at the time was Constance Baker. And she was a youth with potential. She gave a talk, and it impressed people who said, we want to help her and help her realize her dreams. Many of you, hopefully all of us, know that she went on to work with Thurgood Marshall at the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. She went on, of course, to become the first African-American woman federal judge in the history of our country. And she was from this neighborhood, a youth with potential. Caring adults helped her, a caring family, a caring religious community helped her. Perhaps the public library at the time was part of it, I imagine. And so we should draw inspiration from that and for all the youth with potential. Ours is not a big community. As the mayor said, there's 9,000 teenagers here. There are about 1,000 households with school-age kids in all of Dixwell. That's not a big number. And when we put resources together like we're doing here, we can make a big difference. It's possible in New Haven. It's happening here in Dixwell. We're proud to be a part of it. Tom Finklin on behalf of Empower New Haven. And if you understand how I work, I get 3 hours of sleep a night, so often I'm kind of dragging. When I get that coffee, I'm gone. And very energetic guy. He gets the work done, and he does it so fast, you better be prepared. You say, well, I need to go get something, he said, let's go do it right now. What do you mean I have to mean right now? Like, give me 5 minutes. But he's been very, a very good contribution to this organization. In fact, he is one of the board of directors for CT RIBAT, so we kind of keep him real close because he's like the fuel in the engine. So Alderman Drew King.
First of all, giving honor to God and also to our mayor. Thank him for being here. We miss you, Mayor. You know, we knew you was on the road, but we miss you. Glad to see you back. And to Brother Lisa, another alderman, to all of the people that are here, Mike and Bill Dyson, and to everyone's here. This program that Brother Shafiq is really actually took me on board with him. I got excited because for the main fact is that I was over there on Ashman Street when Ashley Black got killed, and I watched him take his last breath and die. I was over when Dougie's son got killed, and I was over where Mrs. Cole, her daughter got killed. And after all of these killers and after all of these things that I've been seeing in our neighborhood, it becomes a stress and a burden upon you because the people elected you to be an alderman. But you know, what is an alderman position? What do I supposed to do? And so anyways, I thank God for Shafiq and for our sergeant that's not here. I thank God for Yale, policeman. Oh, there you go, Sergeant W. I thank God for Sergeant W. because what I did, I said, you know what? Alderman, the person that's an elected official, can't do it by himself. He'll be an idiot if he think that he can. He needs everybody, every person, every living being to come out and be on one accord and on one mind and saying, listen, our babies are dying and we need to have a solution of how to stop this killing that's going on. It's not about you know, look at me, look what I'm doing. It ain't even about that. It's about this thing that got serious. And then it got so serious to the fact that every time when I see the mayor, we were down in Washington, D.C. I snuck up on him and I sat beside him. I said, I know you're running for governor. I said, but let me tell you something, Mayor. I said, you're going to have to do something about our children. I said, because if you don't do nothing about our children, listen, you don't forget about running for the governor. Because the main thing is the children. That's our future. And he looked at me and I seen in his face and I talked to him before and his face is saying to me, you know what, Drew, you right. And I thank God for him to being out here tonight because it's about time that we start really actually understanding is that our youth need to be heard. We went over there to Hill House. We went over there to Cross and the kids spoke out and everything like that. And the most exciting thing what these kids said is that, first of all, number one, we ain't got no love in the house. Number two, because why? How'd y'all put me on the back burner? You shut down all the programs that was going on. I ain't even got no place I can hang out. So now I got to hang in front of the plaza. I got to hang in front of the pizza house. I got to hang on the corner up on Whaley Avenue. And then all of a sudden, if I can't get my excitement off, my zeal off, then I'm going to fight somebody because they said something to me that they disrespected me. But the key here tonight is that we coming together because the program that officer, it's time for us to open up some programs for our children. It's time out for looking at our children and blaming everything on our children and blame it on ourselves, because as leaders, we need to have a clear understanding is that we need to open up the program. And you know, and I want to say this, and I'm serious about this. Everybody always, when you roll up in Dixwell, you're focusing on that Q house. That Q house ain't going to move, ain't gonna do nothing. It ain't about the Q house. It's about the children. That's what it's about. And last of all, I want to tell you something. There's an armory down the street, and believe me, I'm going to be on the mayor's case. There's an armory down the street that got a whole bunch of room up in there. Somewhere along the line, I believe our mayor is a smart man. And I believe he'll come up with something so we can open up something down the street for our children. Because as well as he knows, and as well as anybody else knows, we're tired. And we want our children to grow up. I talked to a young lady yesterday, and I stopped after this, but I talked to a young lady right in front of City Hall. And she said, Alderman Key, come in. I said, oh yeah, I haven't seen you around. This is my next door neighbor. She said, oh, I've been working. I've been going to school all day. I've been working. And after I finish work, I go home. I don't hang out. I said, why, you don't like to go out anywhere? She said, no, that ain't the case. I'm scared to get killed. She 18 years old. That's a sad thing. When you was a child, you're afraid to go out and to be a child. You're afraid to go to a dance, because if you go to a dance, someone gonna start shooting. So it's important. It's important. I wish that all the person was here. Is that we got to come together on one accord and say, listen, it don't start only in Dixwell, but it started in New Hallfield. It started in the Hill. It started in West Haven, East Haven. It started all over New Haven, because New Haven is an exciting place to come. But when you got so much chaos going on with children, you have to weigh the situation. Should I go to New Haven and see the excitement, or should I go to New Haven and risk the problem of getting shot by a stray bullet? Because that boy, Dougie's son, got shot in the back. He didn't get shot straight up. He got shot in the back. So the bullet wasn't even meant for him. And the point of this is, this whole meeting is that Shafiq and myself, we're tired. And we're going back and we're going to fight. We're going to fight. If I got to come on this corner, I will come on this corner. And some of them young boys know, when that truck roll up, that's all them kids. I don't be rolling with nobody. I roll by myself. And I'm saying that because when I roll up out of that truck, I ask them, what's going on? What's happening? And we have a dialogue. And the kids, they looking at me, I look at them. Ain't no one afraid of no kids. They still kids. But if we start understanding that, listen, baby, I came up here because I love you, man. What's happening? And then you start showing that love, and they'll express that love. And you can go anywhere in New Haven, and you start expressing the love that you love these children. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for, do you really care about me? Because if you care about me, let's bring this program over in East Haven. If you care about me, take me off this corner. The kids this year, they didn't want, you know what they wanted? They wanted a job. I opened up my shop down the street. I have a detailing shop on Saturday. The kids worked all day. They even took signs and went out there and said, we got a car wash. And at the end of the day, they split that money up between them. I didn't make nothing. They split that money up between them. And after they split that money up between them, they either went to the movies or they bought a pair of sneakers off of me. That's exactly what they did, but they had an exciting time. And I seen them working and playing with one another. I seen them being children. And I want to see our children being children. And so I hope that this meeting don't be in vain, because this really is not a meeting. This ain't a meeting. We ain't invite the mayor down here and say, oh, we got the mayor down here and he was down at the library and all like that. Nuh-uh. It ain't about that. It's about, mayor, listen, we need to step up to the plate. It's not about a pat on the back. Don't rub me on the head. It ain't about that. This is serious. It's about our children. And all of them children sitting back there listening very carefully to what we say. And they're going to be watching to see what we're going to do. So let's prove ourselves. Don't talk no more. Do it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're going to get ready to conclude this press conference. And before we close out, again, we'd just like to thank everyone for coming out today. The mayor, assistant chief, Dr. Wellborn, Mike Moran, from Park New Haven, Alderman King, Chief Parati, Yusuf Shaw, Tracy Suggs, Sonda Whitfield, Clinton Robinson, Carl Myers, my son Sabir, Christopher, Officer Jackson, Officer Russell Blackwell, Mr. Dyson, and Chip Croft. In the back we have behind back there is Edward Booker. I also like to thank my family, my wife, Mubarak Ibrahim, and my other 3 kids back there. Had it not been for their patience and generosity of sharing me with the public, they'll be in trouble, as I'm always in trouble. But it really warms my heart. I did grow up in Dixville. I grew up in Florence Birchall on Foot Street. I actually worked in this library as a junior librarian for the city. When I was 15, I spent my summers in this library. It's the same library that's been remodeled, and it's so for me it's an inspiring piece. It's an honorable piece to have these officials here, because all we're just trying to do is show the community that everybody's working together for one goal. We all have the same goal in mind. We are all working. Everybody's doing different things in their different capacity. And like I said before, folks could have been other places today, but they chose to be here. And the fact that they're here means that there's a level of commitment that's involved. But it's just not about us. It's just not about what the city can do, what the alderman can do, what the mayor can do, what the senators can do. And as we always say, working with CT RIBAT, is that parents have to meet us halfway and the youth have to meet us halfway. You know, if you believe in your heart that our youth are worth saving, doesn't matter who you are. If you can breathe and you got 2 eyes. If that's what you believe in your heart, that the youth are worth saving, put your money and your efforts, your time, where your heart is.
Just don't sit back, wait for somebody else to do it, but get out here and do it. So, on behalf of all of us, the village, we'd like to thank you for coming out. And we'd like to especially thank the parents, the relatives, the guardians, and the youth. Because without your support and cooperation, we wouldn't have been able to celebrate the reduction in violence that we have done in Dixville. We would not be able to celebrate the ability to even be able to launch a second level project of this program. So again, thank you. At the conclusion of this press conference, some of the officials will be available for questions. We will not take questions at the podium though. And there's juice and pastries in the back of Diana. So thank you for coming out. Thank you again.